Welcome to the Brooklyn Pop with Mr. Kaves. There's some conversations and a little exaggerations. Writer, director, producer, actor, artist, and father. And the list goes on and on and on, right? Car enthusiast, fellow Brooklynite, born and raised, and we're storytellers, right? And our muse has been Brooklyn.
And that's what I always loved about you from when I was a kid, even the Lords of Brooklyn. Before I met you, I was like, I got to meet this guy because you're someone else who, takes so much pride in where you come from. So much pride. And I was like, I got to definitely meet this guy. And when I met you, I was like, wow. I mean, I'm very impressed with everything you've done and how you get it done, and how great you are at what you do.
I appreciate it.
Great, not good, great.
I appreciate it. Likewise.
Thank you.
I've been following you too.
Thank you.
Bronx Tale is where you got your start.
Absolutely.
Right? You got that. Like, we all need a break as a kid, right? We come from nothing, and that's where this guy comes in, right? Because when you're sitting home and shit's hitting the fan and you got, there's not a lot of inspiration. I always say, like, either our neighborhood, you either grew up to be a cop or a gangster. There wasn't a lot of artists or actors or
far and few between.
Right. And when this movie comes out, I'm a kid. My mom takes us to go see it. It's filming in our neighborhood, and they're filming right around the block. And my uncle's car McGee is in one of the shots when he's walking down Pigeon Park in front of the pizzeria, right before they go into the coffee shop. You see my uncle's car.
His car just happened to be there,
yeah.
or they asked him to put it there.
It's in the shot when they're walking down the street.
Just happened.
Yeah, because we lived around the corner, and to see like Vinnie Barbarino right at the time, right? He was famous for Sweat Hogs, and he was he was huge then. But to see that he was in our neighborhood and they were filming a movie about our neighborhood, right? It was so inspirational because when you don't come from nothing, you need something. You need like a beacon. And when this movie comes out, yeah, it's this disco movie and it's a phenomenon and all that. But if you go into the depths of it and the character that John Travolta plays as Tony Manero, we see ourselves, right? And when I talked to you about it, you kind of had the similar kind of like thing. And you were living in Benson. You grew up in Bensonhurst or Gravesend? Where?
I grew up. I was born in Bensonhurst, then I moved right to Gravesend, which is right
there.
Yeah,
around the corner.
Right, and I could identify exactly what you're saying because, this was everything to me. Just everything about it, and just the walk down and the train coming in the opening, everything about this movie. Me and you probably know every word backwards, frontwards, to,
Yeah.
It was, to me, for me, it was like I always say, that's my favorite movie.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the top, it's number one for me. Right. And then if you see around the exhibit, we got Do the Right Thing and The Warriors. Obviously, you could see in my artists what inspired me as a kid with these films. And that was the first way I could manipulate a story, right? How about for you? What was yours?
For me, it was sports. Like I just wanted to play baseball because I looked at, I was about playing with my friends in the street. Like that's what everything, at the time I wanted to be a baseball player, but, then I got into the arts, but it was just playing in the street, like just everything about that. Like, I remember and what I put in Gravesend a lot about it is just how special it was just to be on the block with a group of kids. And I knew every crack. I knew every crack in the street. I knew where every crack was. You know what I'm saying? We would sit on the floor sometimes on the sidewalk and just sit there and talk and just, you knew everything. Your block was everything.
It was the universe. Your block was, you didn't need anything more than that. The block was the world, right?
Exactly. It was everything, and just sitting on the stoop and talking about everything that you like. It was just so special, and that's why it's sad when you don't see that too much. When you drive around on a summer day and you don't see people on the porches or streets, it's just
it's a different world. We're sitting in the beach chairs. When you come into the exhibit, I wanted to start off the exhibit with the mahjong table and the beach chairs that the women used to sit in front of the apartment buildings watching out after their kids and talking talking shit about everybody and gossip and whatever else. They were like the mayor of the block. I think what you're doing with Gravesend and what I'm doing with the exhibit, we're continuing that story, right? And we're almost fortifying, like, you have to tell the story for generations to come, right? And you have to celebrate it.
Absolutely. And this place here is just, you know, when you walk through the door here, it's like, I mean, this is, I mean, from what the art that you put into this, buddy, I mean, every speck. And just to be here, like seeing this, because this whole, the train station, everything about that movie, like, again, and the music and the Bee Gees.
Oh yeah,
the Bee Gees.
Yeah.
And
I mean, listen, I think everybody knows how much of a fan we are of this film, and it's deep and on many levels. I mean, for us, it was more than a movie, right? It was an inspiration to get us to kind of to get here. Similar to what you did. I mean, Bronx Tale, The Sopranos, right? How many seasons were you on Sopranos?
The last 2-3 seasons of the Sopranos. Yeah, just
crazy
part of it, just to be part of it.
Crazy, right?
Well, absolutely. And then when I met him, I got to co-star with him.
Yeah, and then
that was like,
Dottie. Yeah, then you did
that was just like, for me, because like he was, Travolta was like that's the guy I always admired the most, like out of all these actors.
Yeah.
And literally, bro, when I first met him, I you know, obviously when we're actors and we do this type of stuff, we meet a lot of people, we meet, you know, we gotta not seem starstruck.
I play it cool.
But it was hard when I met him because of just how he impacted my life.
Yeah.
It was more than just, oh, John Travolta, the actor. It was the Sweat Hogs. It was a character from Brooklyn.
Yeah.
It was someone that I identified with so much. It was way more.
Right.
It was much more deep to me.
Yeah.
And he knows that. And I got to tell you, like, you know, you met him too. He's
yeah. You know what they say? Don't meet your idol. With him, it's different. It's like, yeah, you meet him and it's different.
The expectation, because I was told by Gandolfini once, when we were on set, he was close with him. He says, John's great. And when I met him, I was like, wow, they don't make guys like this.
Yeah, exactly. I had that moment too. Getting back to that, Sopranos, and then analyze that. And then you did a bunch of independent films, right? Some of them you helped produce, some of them you directed,
Yeah.
Some of them you wrote.
Wannabes movie.
Wannabes, right?
Wannabes, and we won awards at the film festival, and then once upon a time in Brooklyn, Searching for Bobby D, and Back in the Day movie.
Yeah.
And when it came to, and a lot of them had stories that revolved around Brooklyn, but I was like, I need more than a 60-minute, than a 90-minute movie to tell these stories.
Right.
So that's why I wanted to make the show.
Yeah.
Because I knew that I could keep going and going and going like you can, bro.
Yeah.
Like you can. There's so many different things we could hit on.
Yeah.
And I wanted to touch on something with the graffiti, because I did graffiti as well, not on the level of you. I did layups. I did the insides. I didn't do much of the outsides. I used to go and when you think back, bro, when you look back to like what we did, you know, I don't know if you climbed the pole.
Yeah. No, that was 18th Avenue layup was my favorite layup. Now, another friend of ours that's been in these films, and another cat that doesn't get enough praise, Brooklyn guy, Joey Donacio, right? Zane. When I was a kid, when we were breakdancing in the United States, I met Zane and Brad. We would go bomb 18th Avenue layup every Sunday, Saturday morning. We were up there. And I would do train cars. I would do pieces on them. And a lot of kids weren't piecing up on 18th Avenue.
So when you own a piece,
yeah,
you obviously had to go over some people, obviously, probably a lot of times. Did that create?
Yeah, there's always beef and drama, right? I mean,
so you would do a whole car.
Yeah, I would do whole cars or windows downs. I mean, up on 18th Avenue, it was hard to do a whole car. And I was a little dude. So if you look at some of those train cars, you'll see it's really fuzzy by the windows. That's because we couldn't reach. So I would do a Kaves and a Brat piece, and then JN, and there's a lot of writing. And we used to come from Bay Ridge back in the early 80s, from the Cats and TBR crew, NC and Hi-Fi, all these cats. We used to take trips to Bensonhurst just to go bomb that layup. The most incredible thing about that layup was us coming all the way to Bensonhurst at night on a Saturday night, talking about Saturday Night Fever, and the Oriental Manor or the movie theater, the neon lights would illuminate the layup. So we would be inside the layup, catching our tags, trying to get our fame, right? Because it's all about fame, trying to become. When the train would come by and you duck and he said, but on 18th Avenue, the train would even be tilted a little bit, like it was sitting, like ready to fall through those tracks. And you would hear all the music of the kids cruising the L. And they were cruising. Sometimes a marker would fall in between, and God forbid you hit somebody's Cadillac, you're dead, right? But talk about like growing up in Brooklyn in those incredible times. You like think about that, and that's what I try to bring to this play experience to bring you there, right? The neon light coming through, the music underneath, your heart pounding, the trains going by, catching fame. This is how we caught fame. This was our Hollywood. Yeah. Brooklyn to Hollywood, this was our way to become famous. And, you know, and the soundtrack, of course. I mean, Frankie Bones' mixtapes from More Fun and Cruising the L and all the things that we did as kids. I'm 2 years older than you, but it's the same time. You lived this thing. You knew what that, you couldn't drive. It took you hours to drive down that 86th Street. And it was a car show each side of the blocks.
But if you really think about it, if like right now, you know, if your son or you look back and you think about what we did, walking on the tracks, actually walking on the board over the third rail, because you had to do that. If you really think about how really crazy it really was. But if you think about it, bro, we really weren't getting in trouble. Like that was the excess of our trouble in a way. Like the world now is worse than it was then. Like, I mean, like now it's like a different type and every hate and everything. We would just,
you know, you feel more of a separation now. But then again, I mean, like growing up in the 70s, 80s was wild. This, you know, it was super wild. But I think there was an innocence there because we didn't have so much information. And our neighbor was the only information that we had.
If they beefs would happen and stuff, but we all pretty much just were doing the same thing. And it was, you know, it was normal. That's the thing, is that's not a normal way to think. It was normal to blow for guys like us.
Right.
That's not normal, bro.
No.
If you think back,
no.
I mean,
The shit that
normal.
No, the shit we were doing would definitely. I mean, my 14-year-old would never be doing the shit that I was doing at 14 years old. It was a different time. I mean, you know.
Did it seem normal to you?
Yeah, it was normal to me then. I mean, now I look back and it was, you know. But listen, at the same time, people really are nostalgic about those times because they were pioneering times for the dancing, for the music, for the art. But then there was the street shit that was crazy too. I mean, I was going to funerals when I was 13 and 17 years old. And just saying this.
No, it was tough. It was, it was rough to grow up in our neighborhood.
Yeah. So talk back to Gravesend. It's got to be a feat. I mean, just to do a series. I mean, doing a film is hard enough. I mean, I've done shorts, and I know how much just doing shorts or music videos are. But to do a series that has to have this continuity and has to keep people entertained, and doing it on your own. I mean, for the most part, it's independent, right? Could you explain a little bit how your process is when it comes to filmmaking?
Well, like
there's a lot of kids that you're inspiring right now, right? Like when you talk about the next generation, I want them to kind of like know if they wanted to do this on their own, you're a perfect example and how you know.
So are you. I always say that I always said that if you got to make your own way, if it's not coming your way, you got to make your own way. I was always like that. I was like, I'm going to figure this out.
Right.
I'm going to figure this out.
Right.
Because I wasn't about to start this and just, you know, it's like, you know, when you first start acting and you first start this and like no one takes you seriously. Just like with you with the music, I'm sure in the beginning, no one takes you seriously, bro. It's like, and it used to, back then, you know, as a younger person, it used to eat me up a little bit that like, you know, you're an extra or this, you like, you know, I felt like I wasn't going to step into this world and then not make an impact because And unfortunately, most artists, that's what winds up happening. It's like there's a lot of talented people, brother, that just looks, it never transpires.
Yeah.
And I just wouldn't let that happen. Like I was just like lived, eat like you. I mean, when you did just even make this for a year, you probably didn't go nowhere. You didn't do
This is all I did. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like the same thing. Like you're not in Costa Rica like hanging out on the beach. Like your whole life you haven't been, because because you're doing this. You're making music. You're doing things. You're not hanging on the beach, bro.
Right. No.
You know what I'm saying? You look at some of these, you know, I'm like, I can't remember the last time I had like a real like vacation. So I'm saying,
Look, my wife would find that, look, he doesn't take vacations neither, right? We're yeah.
you know what I'm saying? It's
Complain about it all the time because we're constantly, trying to make it.
Because you know what the thing is with us, if me and you did go on like a cruise, or let's just say for like by the second, third day, bro, bring the ship back.
We're jumping off. We're going to be bored because we're going to be thinking about the next project.
Creative, yeah,
absolutely.
That's what drives us.
Yeah, that absolutely.
So,
there's not a minute. There's not a minute where I'm not thinking about what's next and what how we're going to create something to top what we just did.
Yes. So with Gravesend, I had this idea to my goal was to shoot a pilot and get it on a network.
Right.
I wanted to have the pilot go to the network and the network create the show. And I just kind of wanted to be like a David Chase, who was the creator of the show, and bring in directors and writers, a writing team. And that's how I set it out to be. But, and we got in the hands of CAA early. Like they had seen like this, the pilot, and they took me to all the networks. I went to all the networks with CAA. Talking me up, like we got to get the show off, and we came very close to a deal with the network. I really not even discussed this ever, but I feel comfortable to talk about it now. And we were this close, this close,
yeah,
to something very big with a network, and it didn't wind up happening at the time. But I was like, I can't give up. I got to make it work. And we happened to get the first 4 episodes on Amazon Prime without a marketing budget. So a small amount of content, but it just gravitated and people started talking about it out of nowhere, and it just was getting the buzz and the buzz and the buzz with no marketing budget. And people picking me up, Elvis Duran calling me to go on the radio, and Sid Rosenberg calling me to go on the radio. And it just started, and Chas Palminteri tweeting about it,
right,
and Dice loving it and reaching out and wanting to get involved. And it just started to build a cult following. And then I was like, I got to continue this.
Yeah.
And then we were able to get season 2 done, and then we got signed by CAA, who rep us. So I knew that it had to be good for them to be involved, to be with a big agency like that. And when it came out, we had a bigger fan base. But I'm like, I need to find this guy. If we're not going to have a big marketing budget, I need to get someone in the cast that has worldwide appeal. And it just so happened that we met with Shaq.
Yeah.
And he loved the show. And when we talk about like this man right here, Shaq is an icon. And on all the sets I've been on, I worked with so many different people and met so many people. As I said about Travolta, was when I was working on Gotti. And he was Kelly Preston, and their Escalade would pull up to the set, and normally whoever the star is, they go right into the location. They wave, maybe they'll give a wave to the people that are waiting. This man would get out of the Escalade, him and Kelly, and walk to the people, and I'm sitting there watching. I never seen that before. I never seen a star, guy's a A-list actor, getting out of a car, and walking to fans and signing Grease albums and Saturday Night Fever albums and talk and interacting with people. Then I get to work with Shaq, and we're shooting in Coney Island. And we're on a rooftop, a pigeon coop. We're doing a scene about Larry's radiator. And here we got the 7'1" guy on a rooftop. Cars are literally crashing, seeing Shaq on the roof. Like literally Cropsey Avenue, there's like accidents happening. It was, and when the word got out that Shaq was there, I mean, the crowd of people, like
pandemonium.
It was like this. It was like when he did, it was the same type of thing when they did Saturday Night Fever. Like, I was young, and I just remember, like, one day I was like a young kid. There was like, we were driving, and the movie, and there was lines of people came for this man.
Yeah,
lines of people. Like, it was insane.
Yeah.
And then Shaq, there was thousands of people. Like not two. Like, I mean, the cops. They had a whole task force on for Shaq.
Yeah.
And we finished the scene. We have security around him. There's literally 1,000 people in the street, bro. Like they were able to get kind of close. And the man with security walks to the crowd and starts taking pictures with kids, signing basketballs.
Yeah. He's
like,
he's a real cat.
You don't see that.
Yeah.
You don't see that. So it was so amazing to witness that and to work with someone, like I said, on all the people that I've worked with on that level. There's this man and Shaq that I seen are humble and didn't forget it all and embraced their fans.
Right.
And it's beautiful to see.
I mean, we seen it when you got him to come back to Lenny's, right? Yeah, that was another, like, all the love that these people, generational, you know, these are more than just cats that touch people's hearts. It's like it's the DNA of the place. Yeah.
I don't want to get off the Gravesend thing.
Yeah.
Like, for that's another thing that when I talk about, you know, there's things that we've done and having your records out and this and your legacy and all the people you met.
Right.
All these music artists that you got to meet through the years.
Yeah.
I mean, that people can only imagine, and you know, you're working with these people and doing tracks with them, right?
Yeah.
For me, like, when I talked to him and I was like, John, I called him when the Gotti movie was gonna come out. Call him on the phone because we had that relationship. He said, John, I got an idea. Yeah, what's up? What are you thinking? And that's the great thing about him. Like, you can talk to him. I'm like, I think you should come back to Lenny's Pizzeria, and because it's still there. And I think that it would be a great promotion for the movie. He's thinking. You know, that sounds good. He goes, tell the PR company that I'm down. Right. So I call the PR company. I go, guys, John wants to do this. So they're like, oh, you think you can get him an award? Right. So I call up Marty Golden. He was the senator. Call him. I said, Marty, can you do an award for John? He's like, yeah. I go, he goes, yeah, we could do that. Achievement award. He goes, we can make that happen. I go, but you got to do something else. I go, you got to close down 86th Street. He goes, what are you talking about? He goes, why can't we do it in the schoolyard? I go, Marty, it ain't the same.
Right.
I go, he's got to come to that pizzeria. We got to do that. I go,
absolutely.
It's got to happen. I go, it's got to happen. It can't be anywhere else. That's not it. It's not going to work.
Yeah.
We got to make it about that. So, you know, it's not that easy to reroute buses and close down 86th Street. You know, how big 86th Street. It's not like a one-way street. You're talking about a major intersection.
4 lanes. Yeah.
You know, and he made it happen, right? So then I call back the PR company. I told them, I go, yeah, we're going to do it there. It's set. So they go, what do you expect? They go, expect 500 people. I go, what? I don't think that they really understood. Right. This is the part that made it so crazy to me, is I don't even know if he understood.
Right.
What he meant
to the borough, yeah.
I don't know if he really, I mean, he's a big star, he's a humble man, and he knows the movie's an icon, but I don't know if he realized like what it means to me and you and to some people.
Right.
That our generation.
It was a lifeline.
Our generation, that movie is everything to them.
Right.
I'm like, 500 people. I go, you don't even understand. I go, it's going to be crazy. Crazy. And it wind up being 10,000 people. I mean, it wind up being like it was insane. And then one day, we were on every single press outlet that you could ever imagine. Every single one that did. CBS, every single one, 1010 wins. And one day,
right,
it was worldwide news. Worldwide, Jimmy Fallon, everyone talking about it. And I got to be on stage and like next to this man, bringing him back to my neighborhood. It was like, no, I couldn't even like.
It was incredible. It was
something that for
special.
Me, like, when I, say my prayers, I thank God so much that something that it came to life for me. It was just something that I couldn't dream more that I could ask for that to happen. And then he went back to the window. Like, he wasn't at that window since, I think he came by once when they were doing Staying Alive, but he wasn't back there.
Right.
So.
We seen him when we were kids. When he did Staying Alive, he went to White Castle. I don't know why they were there at White Castle, but everybody in the neighborhood was like, they're at White Castle with not only him, another icon, Sylvester Stallone, because he was directing it. And we went up there, and Sylvester Stallone had some big fur coat on. And we got to see them. I think they were doing some outtakes or whatever they were doing, but they were in the neighborhood again. The whole neighborhood shook. Like, back then, I mean, everybody's a celebrity now, right? Social media, people got millions of followers. Back then, there was only a few people that were like, that the whole neighborhood would come out and see. And these people were like walking, they were walking living legends, right? And so I know the energy that it brings, and to see that energy so many years later in front of that pizzeria, that the energy didn't leave. That energy was.
I literally was seeing people crying.
Yeah,
like crying. I can't believe I got to see this man.
So it was super important for us to save this sign, because people say, oh, well, you got, you're crazy, you got this sign. They don't understand the DNA of it, of that walk down 86th Street.
Bro, it was.
So it's our responsibility as these storytellers, these Brooklyn storytellers, to save these stories and continue them. Back to Gravesend, right? Like, you're writing it, you're acting in it, and you're directing it, you're playing a lot of roles in it. You're mastering a lot of disciplines, but it has to be taxing, because then on top of it, you have to raise the money. You got to go get all the locations. You have to come up with the vision for it. You have to get the music for it, which luckily and nice enough that you came to us and we put our little Brooklyn spin on it. Like,
we have more than just one of your songs.
Yeah. We got a couple of the songs in there, and that's what I was just like, I would love to be part of it, because you know what? I believe, like, the way we believe in Brooklyn and telling these stories, they have to be authentic by the people that were raised in the neighborhood, that love the neighborhood. There's like, you're inspiring young kids to like do it yourself style. Like, you're coming in super pro, trucks, gear, but you're doing it on your own. And that, you have to be proud of that. That's that Brooklyn grit.
Thank you.
You know
what it is that what you're saying about, people doing things on their phones and guerrilla in it, which is great. The thing is that, when you're trying to compete with network TV, and you're trying to compete with the top shows and the shows on Netflix and the shows on you got to have a budget, bro, because it's impossible, especially if you're doing something that's a period piece. I mean,
Correct, yeah.
obviously, I mean, these Hollywood shows, you know, they're spending millions of dollars for an episode.
Yeah.
But I had to put enough funding together to make it stand up against that.
Yeah, of course.
And that's why, like you, when you started this, like, I could see walking through this, you know, bro, you went full, you didn't do this, there's no mediocrity here. Nothing.
We went all in.
There's, that's why you are who you are. And I wasn't about to do that with Graves. I wasn't about to release the show again and not have no music in it. I wasn't about to have the show come out and not get the financing to put the music in it.
Right.
That's the music to be part
So
of it.
important.
It wasn't about to do it without getting the known actors and the people that you know write for those roles. You can't do it. And there's no other way to do it. You could do it, but you're not gonna be able to be. Because here's the thing: when you're competing with the top level, they don't care if your budget's lower or not. It's like, are you there or not?
Right. You're at the card table.
When you're competing,
yeah.
you know. And listen, sometimes, you know, obviously you can't do the same things that a studio will do, but you know, I do my best to make sure that it's just as good or it's close.
Yes.
Because you can't, you're competing against that stuff, and it's got to be on that level. You know, you look at stuff like a Cobra Kai. It winded up being on YouTube Red for 2 seasons. It was passed. All the networks passed on it. Netflix in the beginning said that, well, if we could control it, we would do something. They would do something with it. But it got passed. And they did it on their own, and they got it on YouTube Red, which was, who knew what YouTube Red was, but they built a fan base. Now, look at what it is.
Right.
Look at what it became.
Right. That's exactly what I'm saying. I'm saying, like, well, these smaller budget shows, these smaller budget films with creativity and grit. And we know about that from Brooklyn, right? We know how to get dirty. We know how to do this stuff ourselves. And if we have to do a couple of jobs to make it happen, it happens. But you're right. You had to take it to a level where at least that you were at the card table. The horse was in the race. But you call in your favors. You work with restaurants that you have relationships with. You work with, the whole town has got your back. You're filming it in the neighborhood. You're on location. You're not in a backstage set. You're doing it, you know.
Like your place, which by the way has like if you guys want to know of a hidden gem that people don't realize how great the pizza is, Brooklyn Firefly is.
I appreciate
that.
Yeah.
You guys kill it.
Yeah.
And you let us use your location. I have to tell you what you just said. Like, everyone embraced me.
Yeah.
Brennan and Carl, L&B, Luigi's on Fifth Avenue. I mean, Da Vinci's, Villabate.
Yeah.
Everybody.
And you're loyal to them. You're in those places. Yeah.
You know what it is, bro? Like, I gotta tell you, you see, it seemed like you always stayed your course. And I was always a proud Brooklynite. I gotta tell you, when for a minute, right, I moved to the city, right? I'm living in Manhattan, going back about 10 years or so, right? I'm living in the city. And I'm hanging around with the she people, like as we call it, right? And I open up a lounge. And I do it with some people. I open up a lounge, and they're like, you know, we don't want a Bridge and Tunnel crowd coming in. It's going to ruin, once it becomes Bridge and Tunnel, you can never get that again. I'm living in Battery Park City, and at one point I lived in Murray Hill for a little while, and I'm hanging out in the city, and I'm hardly even coming in. I'm coming in, but not that much. And straight up, bro. And I understand now why sometimes people like that have been from here and have made it, they just get away and they hardly ever come back. And it's just like they're in a different world. And I guess maybe they feel like, I don't know, maybe they feel like maybe they lose their roots. I don't know.
Like they backwards or something. Yeah,
I can't even really understand it, to tell you the truth, bro. But it happened to me for a minute. And I was like, you know, I was in this different world. And I was, you know, full force as an actor and hanging out with different people and going to the places where it's hard to get in and only the city people, and going to Bungalow 8 and going to places like that, right? And I remember, brother, like for a minute, I hate to say this, bro, and that's another thing I don't think I've ever really said on the podcast. I lost myself for a minute, and I kind of like was almost frowning on it because I was around this different world. And I was almost like, you know, I'm in the city now. Like it was almost like Stephanie.
Yeah, you made it. You made it to the city, right?
And then one day, bro, I said, you are who you are. Embrace who you are.
Right.
You are who you are. And if you when you speak and you have this accent, another thing I'll bring up. I remember one time talking to a casting director at an audition. She says, you know, it's very hard for us to find how you sound. She goes, it's when the real deal comes in, we know who the real deal is. We know you grew up there. We know when the real deal comes in, we know it. And I'm like, well, you know, I'm trying to get rid of it. She goes, why?
Right.
She goes, why? She goes, that's what makes you. And I realized, brother, that I have to embrace this more than ever, like you.
Yeah.
And tell this story. And it got to a point now where the show is identifying it, and the fan base and people like I'm so happy you're doing this. I grew up like this. I went here, I went there, and now a lot of people are coming, brother. You know.
Yeah.
Me and you, like we're called the crib, same number, same hood. It's me and you, bro.
Yeah. We still there. Yeah. We got our roots. They're in here. They're dug down.
And it's like, I can't tell you how, like, even I'll post something in Brennan and Carr or someplace, and I'll post like in a place, and how many people are like, I miss it. I can't, you can't get that. And I always say, like, you can go wherever you want. Well, you want to, I understand you sell your house, you get millions of dollars, and you want to leave because you want a backyard, you want this, and it's okay to want that. You can't get this.
Right.
You ain't getting it. You could think you're getting it. You're not.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
And with all respect to Florida, and, you know, we have a lot of our friends that move there, and there's some places there, but it ain't the same, bro.
Right.
It's not the same. And I feel like that whenever I post something in a place like a Villa Bate, I'm getting everybody like, they're all amped for it because this is what it is, bro. And like you said, I feel like it's back.
Yeah.
Like people want.
Well, listen, it's you know, the neighbor doesn't change, you do. But if you want the neighbor to stay the same, you have to be in the neighborhood. You have to stay in the neighborhood. You have to promote. I went to Japan a bunch of times. The Lords of Brooklyn were big in Japan, and the Japanese like were incredible. And I'll tell you why. I went to some of their businesses, if they were artisans, if they were bakers, if they were even pizza makers. They have 400-year-old family businesses, 200-year-old family businesses. And I started thinking to myself about my kids, about my family. And I'm like, you know, we've been here a while doing this thing, this Brooklyn thing. But I want them to look, I want my picture up on the wall as the sunset, going bow to the sunset, because we have a 400-year operation here. To have, I mean, we're not, this country's young, but Brooklyn is special. And if it started out with the Dodgers as being the first like team to become the fabric of Brooklyn, I mean, before then you had, you had Walt Whitman, you had people, but I'm talking about our grandfather's generation, and after World War II, like Brooklyn became this super special place. If it was the sports teams or Barbra Streisand or whoever it was, like these actors that made this place, this was the from Brooklyn to Hollywood, right? But now, like in Saturday Night Fever, there was a great line in there, and there was an ad lib in the background when they're on the Verrazano Bridge fighting off, and they says, "Fuck you, Manhattan, come to Brooklyn." I think it's a "fuck you, come to Brooklyn" moment. Like, fuck everybody, come to Brooklyn, because this is where it's all began. Like, you want to know why it's so fucking cool and so hip? I'm going to tell you why. It's because there's cats here that will bleed. It's been about the constant, like, getting knocked down. I don't care what you do. If you're the fireman or the sanitation worker, you're getting shit on all the time. You're getting knocked down. If you're the kid that wants to be the actor, you're getting rejected. But in Brooklyn, the spirit, we don't give up. And yeah, if we leave, we still have the spirit in us, and we still Brooklyn, it's in our DNA, and it's respected around the world. But there's something special about like digging deep and digging in. Yeah. And like the neighborhood's changing because, new immigrants come in. It happens all the time. You add something special to that pizza. If it's a topping that, if you have to put some kimchi on the topping to make the pizza, whatever. Brooklyn's always been a hybrid of everyone. And the best of everyone, and everyone, when they're here for even 5 years, they get the Brooklyn attitude. I mean, the language might change, the accent might stray a little bit, but the heart's still here for that borough.
And there's two things I want to touch on. One, is it's so great when you go to a place like a Da Vinci's, and you see Italian people, and you see people that immigrants, that their kids are working there, and they're keeping it, and they're keeping the pride. And you walk in the door, and you walk into Brennan and Carr and the Sullivan family. You see the family, the people that they stayed.
Yeah,
you go to Michael's, and it's when you walk into, for me, when I go to your place, and I see you and your sister, and when you walk in the door to the Farrers, and the kids are still there,
right?
They, and they're proud, and
you got to support that. You got to. I mean, you have to say.
And that's why this place. And again, Josephine's my dear friend.
Yeah.
I mean, I cried when it closed. I was there when I cried.
Yeah.
Right, and she'll tell you. And I got the last two slices. I got the last two slices of that place. I walked out with the last two slices, and I literally cried, because it meant so much to me. But these places like Spumoni Gardens, it's still the same family. People may say it's not, and it is, guys. So please, I don't want to hear it later on. They sold it. They did not sell it. Okay, it's still handed down to their family. It's still the same family. Please don't comment later. They didn't, and it's still the same recipe. Please, thank you.
I've just had a square recently.
I mean, okay, there's days when pizza's made where maybe it's slightly, but it's still the same pizza, guys, and it's still the same family.
Right.
And I fight with people about it because they think they know, and we know because we know the people. And I don't. You can have your opinion, but please, we do know because we the people. But when I walk in that door and you see it, it's like a place that, like, there's a lot of new faces, of course, but the people that once lived here, when they roll through Brooklyn, they're stopping there. There's places you go to stop.
Right.
And it's wonderful to see it. And I support it, and I'll talk about it. And that's why I even love the guy, Gio at Luigi's. His father, that was his father's place on Fifth Avenue. And he's there, and he's making the pizza. Bro, he's making the pizza, and he's happy. He wants to make pizza.
Yeah, that's it.
I mean, he's making a fortune, but he wants to make pizza. He doesn't care. He's happy making the pizza.
Right.
And I love that.
Listen, tradition carries on, but you have to enforce it. You have to celebrate it, and you have to support it, right? So everybody out there that if the new season of Gravesend comes out, support it. And as like fine wine, it gets better in time. Like every TV show, every series, And you look at Sopranos in the first couple episodes, you're like, where's this going? First season, second season gets better, third season gets better. You have to let a jazz musician play. It's like jazz. You find your notes and your keys, you find what works, like with anything. Even with our restaurant, it took us 3 years to get it flowing. Like things take time. You need like sauce. It needs to marinate. And as an artist, you need to find, what works and what doesn't and shit. Everybody's so quick to judge. Everybody's so quick to hate. And it's like everybody has a shot to do their thing. If someone's doing it, you got to support them and respect them, because that shit is yeah.
Right. You get, and I want to touch on another subject, like I said, but when you talk about hate, like, you look at something, you look at a team or a player, they host a team. I'm a Steeler fan, right? And we're going to the playoffs now, and odds are very slim, obviously, but I just can't even believe, bro, when I do take the time to look at comments, is 85% of these people just negative?
Oh yeah,
I mean, it's so sad to say it. It's because it's like, we're gonna lose, and then you'll get one time a person that says, you know what, we're in it, let's go. It's like,
yeah,
when you bring up the hate, it's like, I don't know why people are so angry, bro.
Well, I can only think this. Listen, like everybody, sometimes it's hard getting out of bed. Sometimes things hurt, and it's easy to be shitty. It's easy to take, it's easy to be grumpy. It takes discipline. It takes work to be happy, to kind of be grateful. And you have to do discipline. It's like you have to meditate. You have to kind of do something every day to say, okay, I'm grateful. And during the pandemic, man, I was writing those lists saying, this is what I'm grateful for. Well, we've been through the shit that we've been through in our lives, the heartache and the pain and the blood, sweat and all of that. You have to like be grateful. And then once you can get past that point, then you can be grateful for other people. And then you can see what they're doing and find the good in them. And if you live that life of trying to find the best in people, you'll have you'll go to sleep. You'll go to sleep.
I wish that it would be more. I wish that people would do that. I mean, even if I go to a pizzeria, I got to have everyone chiming in, or certain people, about how the pizza ain't that good. And I understand. Everyone's entitled to your opinion. You're all entitled to it.
Absolutely. Well, the other day I went to Pizza Wagon. We're going to talk about neighborhood stuff. And I said Pizza Wagon, to me, is the greatest square ever, right? Because I grew up as a kid, I have my special relationship, and I own a pizzeria, and I make squares. But I'm saying, if I could say, hey, this is incredible and it's the best, I aspire to be that, and it gives me something to work on, right? Like listen, I got up there and we emceed and we did our best and we went for it, and we went for it. You know what I'm saying? Like, listen, there's plenty of better MCs, there's plenty of better artists, but
always someone
better. The talent. But this is the thing about talent, and you'll know this. I've seen a lot of talented, like incredibly more talented people than me, but I bet you I get up and work harder. That's how.
One thing I could say about you,
right?
One thing I could say about you, everything that you've done, bro, from the tattoo art, your graffiti, your tattoo art, the art that you do, your restaurant, your pizza place, your acting, your music, it's all top notch. And you because you're not about mediocrity. Like
I appreciate it.
And what I'm saying to you is the truth, bro. Like you're an inspiration. You're an inspiration, and it's great that you put this together to inspire a lot of people, and to go the route and to never give up. Because this is what this is about. When you walk through here, you see these people, all these movies. These people all had dreams. Spike Lee had a dream.
Right, Brooklyn Dreamers.
Spike Lee's a kid from the hood. Yeah, and he was able.
Well, you know, that's what it comes back to. I mean, what I was saying before was like, if you work really hard, you'll get what you want. And with a little bit of talent goes a long way. If you teach these kids that they have to work. A lot of kids think it's going to come easy. They think it's going to come fast. Influencers, they're going to trend. But you know what? If you work really hard on it, you'll get to these places. And that's what the key to anything that I've done is I've worked really hard at it, right?
You can't take a back step. It's like, so what I wanted to talk about was when I was in the room with the networks, I'm literally sitting in the room with CAA, And we're going around and we're talking to networks, and I'm meeting acquisitions people. And this is early on. Show was called The Neighborhood. It wasn't even called Gravesend at the time. I had to change the name because another show came out called The Neighborhood. And then I changed it to Gravesend, which because I felt like it was a catchy name, and a lot of gangsters come from there. Plus, I felt like the grave is the end in the life.
Right.
So that's why I changed the name. But now, as an actor and doing this for a long time, I walk into CAA. Just to walk into the building, like literally, like you're like, it's like you're walking into Yankee Stadium. It's like you can't,
Right.
just to walk into that building,
Right.
and then to get them to take me out early on, and I'm going to all the networks. I'm on the lots. I'm on the Sony lot. I'm on the Fox lot. I'm walking into networks. This big agency with me, right? And I'm meeting acquisitions people. And I remember talking to these people. A lot of them were like Harvard grads from like Idaho or something like that. Kids like maybe 35, 30, 28. I'm sitting in a room. I'm trying to make them understand. I'm like, guys, you don't understand what Brooklyn, how far, like these are people have no idea because they don't know.
Right. Right.
Like Idaho.
Right.
But they were lucky enough. And they worked hard, and they got a position and working in a bit. They get a good position, and they could change someone's life like this. They could make your life change. And I'm trying to explain to them, guys, you don't understand what this is about. Like, you don't understand how the show like this, how it could reach people. You don't understand how far Brooklyn's reach is.
Right.
You don't understand.
It's worldwide.
I like to explain it to them. Right? CAA understood.
Right.
So, they didn't get it. A lot of them didn't get it at the time, right? And CAA had like told me that they felt strong that we were going to get a deal with a network, and it was going to happen. And at the time, it did. And it was really, it took a lot out of me because I've been doing this for so long, and I finally got in the right door, like the door that was like the biggest door you could walk through.
Right.
Again, I'm glad I'm doing this today because I don't think I've ever even discussed this, but I feel comfortable with you, and I'm inspired to be in this room, and I'm getting a little emotional when I think about this because of what you've been through too, and I understand you went through with your family and your mother and your sister, and how you just never let it knock you down. And I'm walking and I'm on these lots. I'm walking on the lots in Hollywood and with these people, and I'm like thinking that my life's going to change in a very big way, like a very big way. Like tomorrow, if one of them says it's a deal, it's like this. All of a sudden, I'm like working with, and I have the support that I've always wanted. And it didn't happen, right? I came back from California, and CA's like, no, don't worry, we'll revisit. Don't worry, you got something. Let's keep going, right? Don't worry. And I'm like, okay. I'll never forget, I was like so down. I've never been number one. I always get up. And I did get up. But it knocked me out.
Doing that. Yeah.
Like literally, because when they think about like your emotions, we have emotions, and when someone's telling you that tomorrow is something that is so big, and I was praying so hard for it. I was like, wow, this is something. I've been in this game for so long, since A Bronx Tale, and I'm in the door to finally really go.
Right.
We've had our moments, bro. And when I think about it, like that's another thing. Like the things that we've done, people would die to just do, right?
Absolutely.
Humble, right? And we always inspire to do more, right? So what we've done is a big, to work with the people me and you have worked with,
Right.
you know. it's a blessing. But this was like the moment where like I got it. And when it didn't happen, it knocked me on my ass for like a week. I was like, what more could I do? I'll never forget. My father told me when he watched the little beginning of my show, my father, listen, he would always give me props, but my father's not one to say, oh, this is great. He's not one to pat me. He'll say, good job, but he told me, if this doesn't do it for you, I don't know what would. And I knew when I walked in and I met the people at CAA, they got it. They understood. They said, I can't believe you were able to do this. And I remember that I was like, okay, I need almost like a fallback plan. Like, well, not a fallback plan, but I was angry. And that's when I started Brooklyn. And I was like, I'm going to do something. I'm going to have something else. I'm going to create this brand. And I'm proud about Brooklyn, right? So then I dusted myself off. I was like, okay, I met with a producer. He says, because if you get this on, if the people get to see this, you're going to build something, I promise you.
Right.
And it got out on Amazon Prime. And then I got my fan base. And it started, it was only 4 episodes. It was, some people saying, a lot of people saying this, they wanted more.
Yeah.
It's a small amount of content. But I knew that if the people seen it, there was not a part of me for a second that ever doubted it. And when I finished season 2, a whole season, now I did a whole season, 9 episodes, and I called CAA on the phone. I was like, guys, I got this. Finished the show. They were blown away, bro. Yeah, like no one has ever done anything like this, and they signed it. Everything was, now it's a whole different situation. But I never doubted it for 1 second. I never thought for a second. And like you bring up haters, and there's always going to be haters, and there's always people that have something to say.
Always. There's the people that ain't doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel bad because in today's world, the young people and people that want to write a song or want to do something and they get bullied.
Right.
Because it could be a bigger, because once you put yourself out there, you're subject to criticism.
Yeah.
And when we grew up, bro, it was like we fought in the street about it or something. It was a different situation. Now it's magnified by so many people. Say it's so much stupid things.
Right, because they're behind the screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it deters, I think it deters a lot of people.
Yeah.
But I knew that it could become something. And now we're there.
Yeah.
We're in a position where it's, I mean, look at who the new people we even added in our cast, to work with Talia Shire, even legend. I mean, a legend like that, and have Shaq in the show, and some of our friends Peter Guns and these guys.
It's the momentum is building, like I said.
Yeah, and there's even more. There's going to be someone else that's just beyond. But
well, it goes to show you who you are. That you did it. You got up to bat. You did it yourself. You put together your team, and you went in and you got it done. And that's a lot to be to respect you for, and also as an artist, you're putting your heart out there. It's fucking tough to do.
Of course,
because
it's like the same thing with you when I was talking to you, a year ago, or 2 years ago. You were talking about this place, right? You put something in the air and you said, I'm going to do it. And I walk around here and like, you said you were going to do it. And you totally outdid yourself. Like it's just, it's so inspiring because, I know what you had to go through to do it. Yeah. Like people don't know unless you're in it, and it's easy to knock it, and it's easy to say something about what you do, and make a comment about it. Like, I know what it took for you to do this.
Yeah. Like,
I know the blood, sweat, and tears that went in it.
Yeah. It's, you're putting yourself out there, and you're putting your story out there, and it's, it's stuff that was a lot of pain that you experienced, but I always felt this was something, even learning, going to Japan, place like that, like taking something broken and turning it into something beautiful. Like if that's, and I had those moments too. people don't understand, like they only see your accomplishments because the highlight reel on Instagram or Facebook, but how many auditions that I got turned down on, how many times that I had that moment where I thought it was going to change my life. And I think that was some of the mistakes I made, thinking that something had to change my life. My life was always changing from the hard work that I was doing that got me in front of these people. And then I choked a couple of times on some auditions that I almost wanted to give up. But then I said, well, wait, maybe it's the audition process that I just can't like wrap my head around. You know, they say, a working actor has to just keep working. I don't know, like an actor just has to be passionate about what they're doing. If they're not passionate about it, it's not going to come out in the work. So as a director and a storyteller, I say, okay, maybe I need to just do what I love and just do it and then show it later. Like, do it yourself and get it done and then put it out there. And as an artist, like, listen, there's a lot of times you do a canvas, not everybody's going to dig it. They'll be like, oh, you were off that week. And maybe I was, but I'm going to do another one. And I'm going to do another one. And then I'm going to get into 10,000 hours to master that one. Or when it comes to like anything we do, we're doing it with all our heart. And that's how you become a master at something.
Exactly. Look at the, you set out to do a song, you set out to do a track, and then it's on the radio.
Yeah.
So think about like, you set out to do something, and then you hear it, and you got to people playing in their cars.
Yeah.
It's like, you set out to open up a restaurant, a piece, and one day the doors open and the first customer walks through the door.
Yeah. Well, it does manifest that way, but you have to put one foot in front of the other. And the work, there's no getting around the work, right? There's no way, like, you can't fake it till you make it. You have to, it's really work it till you make it. And it might not be the first year, the first season, or the second or third. It might not be 30 years. You have to know you're an artist. This is your life. It's a life of an artist.
You don't want it like right away, like you said.
Right. And sometimes listen, I had a good friend, and he was a Verizon worker, neighbor guy. He's like, like I was complaining one day about all these things that didn't happen, like how many times that we put out records and how many times that it should have been big and it should have been this. And he said, did you ever think that if it was big, you wouldn't be here? He goes, how many friends that you know or people you know that they got big right away and then they couldn't handle it and that was it. They were gone. They burnt out real quick. He goes,
and what about a one-hit wonder?
Right. So that he was like, you're still here, still doing it, and you never had to work for anybody, right? Like you've been doing your thing for many years. So sometimes you got to like turn the mirror on yourself and to understand what you're doing is a creative process. And now that gets me back to like, we were lucky as kids in Brooklyn to find the passion, right? We found it. A lot of kids maybe didn't find it right away. We found one at an early age. And then it's the process that goes into becoming that, right? It's not always the end result. If you're like, you're successful, if you fall in love with the process and you get to do that process for the rest of your life, then you're successful. Absolutely. And sometimes we have to tell ourselves that as artists, right? I think everybody's proud of you for what you've done.
I appreciate it.
And anybody that's in the business or does the craft know that what you're doing isn't easy. And then, but like I said, there's a movement now that I feel a lot of like, there's New York has something going on. There's something special going on in Brooklyn and in New York, Queens, around the boroughs, is that the creatives are really getting like, they're getting fed up with the nonsense and like people taking it in their own hands to create art, to create film, movies. There's a lot of quality stuff happening. And I think, like Uncle Frank said, the sun will shine on every dog's ass one day. I think the sun is shining on what you're doing, what we're doing. And I think it's just a matter of time. The cream rises to the top, right?
I always say that. And I remember, bro, when I like the little steps, right? I remember my first movie that I produced. It was called One Deadly Road. And I remember, because we always we want it to be like as big as it could be, like we said. And I remember I walked into Blockbuster Video, and there was my face on the cover of a movie or the VHS.
Right.
There was like 6 of them, but like maybe it wasn't like, Die Hard where there was 50.
Right,
It was
right.
6.
Right.
But I had 6 VHSs on the wall.
Right.
And when you're in it, you're like, now when I look back, how much I appreciate it. And I appreciated it then, but when I look back, like I remember walking in the Blockbuster video and seeing myself and all the people that knocked me and said, couldn't do it.
Right.
I'm like,
Yeah.
you on a VHS in this store?
Yeah. No.
And then I'll never forget the movie War of Beast comes out. It's playing in the Marlboro movie theater on Bay Parkway. I walk and I see it on the I was in like maybe 30 movie theaters.
Right. Yeah. No, I
walked up and I see it. It says War of Beast. I'll never forget this as long as I live, bro. I walked to the window because I just kind of wanted to see like how the people were reacting. And it was a Brooklyn movie, so a lot of people were there watching it. And I walk up to the window, and the girl behind the window, she's like, oh my God. Like, she was like, you here?
Yeah.
Right? She goes, can you put your hand under the glass? I want to touch it. I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. Right? I was like, oh, this is sick. So I walk in and I sit in the back and I'm getting the laughs where I wanted to get the laughs. And then it makes you proud.
Oh yeah.
That all the work you put in, because when you're going through it and you're raising money and you're on set and you're going through those long days and trying to do something and you feel like sometimes like to do it on your own, is it ever gonna happen?
Right.
And then like this,
yeah,
like, is it ever gonna happen? When you first put the first nail on the wall,
yeah,
you knew it.
yeah,
Like I know you, and I knew you knew this was gonna happen. You knew. It's like I knew what my show was gonna be like. I knew it. I never.
And what happens is that if you go around telling people that they look at you like, I don't know about this one, or they, I mean, at least with my record, they've seen that when I put my mind to something, I'm going to get it done. With this was important to me because there was a lot of celebration to do for Brooklyn, for my mom, for the band and all of that. And the dream, the Brooklyn Dream, comes back to, so the name of the play is The Brooklyn Dream at the Brooklyn Pub. The Brooklyn Dream, you see all those bottles of all those names. They were all Brooklyn dreamers like us, every one of us. And those guys got to the point in their career where their dream came true. And I think that's, even if your dream doesn't come true, at least you got a chance to go try to live it. Right? At least you got a chance to get up to bat or get in the ring. And at the end of this this tale that we tell, this 3-generation, this play, when people leave, they're crying and they're smiling and they said, wow, you touched them. And that's our artist's job to do. That's all we're supposed to do. We're not, it doesn't matter, our job is just to touch people with our art, 100%. No matter what it is. So I think you've done that. I think you got a ton of it ahead of you, and you've just begun. But you're doing it on your own. So if there's kids out there that get any, even from this little podcast, from the Brooklyn Pop exhibit, we're celebrating Brooklyn's influence on popular culture. This is how it begins. And if there's kids out there looking to you right now, just the way you were looking to John, and they're going, oh shit, if he could do it, maybe I can, right? He's from the old neighborhood, maybe I can. And I think that's our job as elders. Yeah. And they can. And
that's,
yeah. So if it's Amazon or Tubi or Hulu or any of the, it's not, now there's a lot of opportunity in a lot of these places because people are looking at all of it. There's a lot of content out there, but if you work hard and you bring it up to a certain level, right, you might have a shot against the big boys. And I think that's always been Brooklyn, going up against the big boys, right?
It's like we wouldn't give up, and that's just because we got that chip on our shoulder that we were from Brooklyn.
Yeah.
And that's why I started the Brooklyn Brand Clothing Company, because whenever I walked into a store and I seen a shirt that said Brooklyn on it, I wanted to buy it. Right. I wanted to always show that I was from Brooklyn.
Absolutely.
And that's why I started the clothing brand, because I was like, this is what I'm about. This is what, and it's funny, like even when I started the sweatsuits, it's like, it kind of like had like gotten away, and then I started it and it started to kick in, and it seems like Sergio Tacchini rejuvenated right after I like kind of put it back out there.
Right, you're putting it back out on the screen. You're putting out the brands, the members only, and all of this. So if there's people out there and they want to find you, the Brooklyn brand is your clothing.
Yeah, my Brooklyn brand.
My Brooklyn brand. They go .com. Gravesend, the new series.
Gravesend is on Amazon Prime.
Amazon Prime.
It be at the moment, but
Now,
that may be changing.
How about if people want to submit work to you, if they want to be on your show, like how do they hit you up? How do they submit?
You know, the thing with that is that they gotta kind of try to find through the casting, because we get so much.
I'm sure.
And I actually wish I could, and I want to, like, dedicate us. And it's funny you bring that up, because I get a lot of messages, and it's hard for me to answer them. And it's not that I don't want to, and I want to help people.
Of course, yeah. But you're wearing a lot of hats. You're out there busy. That's why I'm asking, like, where can they hit up your management company?
It just so happens, like, I was in Spumoni Gardens one day, and this kid Chris, he's in there, and he had a Cadillac emblem. Young kid, he was like 18 years old, and he had a Cadillac emblem on his keychain. And he walked up to me, and he said, "I'm a big fan. I love everything you're doing. Love it." I'm looking at him, and I'm like, this is getting old school. Anyway, I'm getting apart. Approach me. I'm approachable.
Right. All right.
Approachable.
That's it.
I'm approachable.
Well,
and that's another thing, brother. Like you, I know one thing about you. You're never going to refuse taking a picture with someone or signing something with somebody. It's a true blessing.
I'm in here showing people around. I mean, it takes that. It takes us. We're a people's artists. We're the artists.
And this place is going to resonate, and in the next year or so, I could only imagine how many people are going to walk through this door.
I appreciate it. I mean, we're off to a good start.
I could promote.
Yeah, listen.
It's like,
it's going to take a neighborhood to support the neighborhood.
This man, this is just.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, I don't know who's a bigger fan of this movie, you or me. I think we're about a tie at this point, right? You've done some amazing stuff. You keep continuing to do what you're doing. I appreciate you coming here and taking out the time. This is our first and that's episode. Yeah.
I'm so glad that I was your first guest.
Yeah.
I am thrilled.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it.
Thrilled that I came here. I am going to promote this place like there's no tomorrow. I believe in every speck of this place.
I appreciate it. Well, this is a Brooklyn Way by Mr. Kaves at the Brooklyn Pop exhibit. This is our first podcast. Thank you for joining me. Thank you, my man. We'll see you in the neighborhood, all right?
That's it. Brooklyn strong right here, bro. We're here.